Welcome to the Unscripted Blend. I'm your host, Victoria Stackhouse. Today, I'm sitting down with someone whose story and artistry really embody the blend of faith, life, and creativity. Basically, what this show is all about. Hamilton Hardin is a Columbus, Ohio native, a Grammy Award-winning producer, multi-instrumentalist, composer for big band and orchestra, and arranger whose work spans a wide range of musical influences. In 2004, he completed a degree in jazz studies and saxophone performance from The Ohio State University. Since then, he's toured, recorded, produced, and arranged for an incredible list of artists, from the Brandy and Monica Tour to Kirk Whalum, Stevie Wonder, Jay Ivey, Yolanda Adams, Patti LaBelle, Gladys Knight, Dave Koz, Kenny Lattimore, Fred Hammond, Tyrese, Israel Houghton, Norman Brown, Layla Hathaway, Mike Phillips, Take Six, Don Moen, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, War and Treaty, Fantasia, and Tyler, just to name a few. Just a few. Hamilton has also released 3 records, Just Wanna Say, Pray, and his latest from 2025, Filled with Wonder. He's also the founder and executive director of Future Star, a nonprofit that brings music industry professionals into schools around the world, teaching young people to use art to bring environmental awareness to their communities. And now, Hamilton has new music on the way. The Gospel drops on August the 28th, and you can pre-save that now. The link is in the show notes. Now, sit back, relax, and enjoy the blend. Hamilton, welcome to the Unscripted Blend. So, I am so honored to have here with me today Hamilton Hardin. Welcome to the show.
Hey, glad to be here. Glad to be here.
Welcome. And I have to do this because of how my brain works, so I can just get this out of the way. I'm so excited again to have Hardin, first name Hamilton, because I'm a Hamilton fan. And my brain is like that. So I had to do it, just get it out the way. One
all
time.
the time.
One time.
I get that all the time.
Yes. Thank you for indulging.
Yes, indeed.
Yes. Now, actually, is that a musical that you like?
I actually haven't seen the musical,
Okay.
but when I introduce my name as Hamilton, the common thing that strangers say, "Oh, like the play." I'm like, okay, we'll go with it.
Like you had it before that, but
I am going to be the one to say that, but yeah.
Okay. Well, when you do, I definitely would be interested to hear your feedback, because you have that ear. You'll probably pick up things we didn't even pick up.
Okay.
So take us into your journey, into how you got started in music, because like you sing, you have some instrument, you do 1,000 things. So take us into the journey, really.
Music started early for me. It was pretty clear even as a kid that was like my thing. I would have liked for basketball to be my thing, and I'm in the NBA, but music was my thing. And that's sort of where my passion took me. Started when I was 4 years old. I started playing piano and drums. And then at the church that I was involved in, that I grew up in, there were like 9 drummers. So I didn't get a chance to play as often as I'd like. So I started gravitating more towards the piano. And yeah, when I was 12, the music director at my church, her husband um, became a pastor, and so she went to pastor the church with him. And I was sort of the next person standing. So I was music director at my church, and I was like 12 or 13. And yeah. And then I don't know, from there it just started evolving. In 6th grade, I started playing saxophone as like a band instrument. And then that continued through high school. And in high school, I had access to all the school's instruments. So the school had a bunch of trumpets, the school had a bunch of trombones, and I was able to sort of sign it out, take some things home. and just sort of try things out and see what I was liking, see what I was into. And um, so that's sort of how I started playing a lot of different instruments. Um, Musically speaking, I got involved in my city, Columbus, Ohio. We had the Columbus Youth Jazz. And so I started getting involved in jazz in that way and getting really introduced to another world because before then, all I really was knew was gospel music. I was, raised in the church. That was primarily what I knew, what I played. And so youth jazz introduced me to more friends that do jazz and improvisation of that sort. And so really started getting into that. Started playing in jazz clubs when I was like 16. I did my first international travel when I was 17. Um, Man, and since then it's just sort of continued. College, I started obviously I got my degree in jazz studies, but I also started doing a lot of writing and scoring for strings and big band. Um, Took a lot of L's at first. It
Mhm.
does not sound good when you're first starting, but I think the important thing I tell my students is listen objectively and identify what's whack and try not to do that anymore. Try to make those changes. And so, yeah, so from there, I mean, in my adult years, I've just been doing a mix of producing, touring, scoring, arranging, mixing in the studio and mastering and that type of sort of post-production work. So I feel like that's a summation of my musical journey. Yeah.
That's awesome. Was there any point where you felt like you were gonna have a plan B, or you just always know like in some way, shape, or form, music is it?
Music was sort of it, just because of the time invested in it.
Mm,
Like to get good at one instrument, let alone multiple instruments, it's a lot of practice. And so it's equivalent by the time, I graduated college, it's about the same time that a doctor would put in med school. Like
mm,
it's a lot of developing muscle memory, developing embouchure for wind instruments. If you're a trumpet player or a flautist or a trumpet player, or I'm sorry, saxophone player, if you're playing a wind instrument, you have to develop a lot of things. If you're a piano player, you have to develop a lot of technique. And that's not an overnight process. That's years and decades of work. So by the time I was of working age, that was clear what I wanted to do. And I was making uh, decent money by the time I was 16. And so I'm thankful for that. But that was sort of, it was clear to me, even as a teenager, like I can do this as a career. Yeah.
that's great, and to know that from an early age, that's definitely a blessing.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is.
Awesome. So I guess the next thing I would say, what are some career highlights for you? Because like your resume is ridiculous, but what are some like major moments that stuck out to you along the way?
I would say the first would be um, probably in my mid 20s, I started touring with someone who's now like a dear friend of mine, almost like a brother to me, a guy named Christian House. He's a violinist. And we toured as a sort of a jazz trio, both domestically and internationally. My first time going to Spain was with him. We did probably 8 cities in 7 days,
Wow.
and really just got a chance to tour the world with him. But what I enjoyed and what I appreciated, he always encouraged me to sound like myself. A
Mm,
lot of times, as a working musician, you find what the artist wants, and you sort of have to get into, in order to deliver what they want, you sort of have to get into the sound that they're into to try to make sure the client is happy. That's how you stay working.
mm,
Um, but every now and then you'll get the artists that say, no, I want Hamilton Hardin's creative energy and all that stuff. And so it was real cool to tour with him because, like I said, he allowed me to be myself and even explore artistically who I am and to sort of get to um new realizations of where I am artistically.
I like that. That's good.
He's
And
yeah.
hey, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No. I just remembered your question. You asked for other highlights. I would say another highlight that's happened probably recently in the last year. I've been have a chance to work a lot with Stevie Wonder. And so um to be in the studio with him, see his workflow, sit at the piano with him, hang, talk, develop a friendship. That's he's someone that was sort of on my bucket list of sorts, like somebody I always wanted to work with. And so that's just a major highlight, and just because it's sort of more recent, it's definitely at the top of the mind.
Oh, that is cool. He's like one of my favorites of all time.
Oh yeah, and I mean, he's also like a really down to earth, cool person. You know, sometimes you meet certain artists and you meet them and it's like, wow, I didn't know um you were this maybe caught up in yourself or anything like that.
Hmm.
Um, but you know, I've had the opportunity to work with a lot of artists that are just cool people. Like when you get to meet them, they're not stuck in their own fame and they're not into themselves like that. And they make you feel like you're the star. You know what I mean? Yeah.
That's always good. So now, because you do so many things, in what capacity did you work with him?
So with Stevie, I did some string arrangements
Okay.
on an upcoming record that he's working on.
Okay.
And so, and I was able to travel with my wife, who you've interviewed as well,
Yes.
the lovely, talented, beautiful Nicole Hardin. And we got to travel together, and she played. You know, I sort of conducted the strings and sort of got to, um, produce the string section alongside Stevie. Yeah,
Okay. I love that. I got to
yeah.
chat with both of you one day. That'd be cool too.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. But that is so awesome. Hello there. I have something special to share with all of you. Listen, if you're planning an event and need a speaker, I'd love to be considered. I'm available for keynotes, conference hosting, panel moderation, and workshops. And listen, we can do that either in person or virtually, either one. So if you're looking for someone who can connect with your audience and bring something meaningful to the room, let's talk. I want to speak with you. Details are in the show notes on how we can connect. And that's it. Now back to the show. So now let me ask you this. So when did you realize too that you wanted to do your own solo work? Was that always on the list, or like, and then it was just kind of like you'll get there when you get there? How'd that come into play?
That happened sort of early. I did my first record when I was 19.
Okay.
Um, uh, and I sort of have always, I think what I used to do when I would produce for other artists in my late teen years and even early 20s, I would try to shove all my ideas onto their projects and shove all of my ideas into their thing. And it became evident like I need to just do my own music and sort of do what I'm hearing. And as soon as I do that, I was able to sort of get all that art build up artistic energy and sort of put in my own thing. And then I'm able to focus on what they want and not have to do that, push my stuff in. And so um, I knew at an semi early age. And then it's just, developing writing, developing in um, lyrical writing, because lyrics, I was weak with lyrics. And the older I get, I'm starting to get better with that, with conveying an idea in a more poetic fashion, and combine that with the musicality.
Is it kind of hard sometimes to decide what you would keep for you versus, pitch to another artist?
It's actually not so. For me, I sort of get these what I call downloads from God.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes, I'll hear the full song as is. And then the challenging part is getting what's in my head, uh, trying to produce it to sound as clear as it's in my head, and to actually bring that into fruition, with real musician and real, over speakers. And so that's probably the biggest challenge. But I sort of know when music comes, it's for me to do, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. So I'm still going through the catalog, but I definitely just checked out your latest project, Filled with Wonder,
Oh wow. Thank you.
and it's awesome.
Thank you.
Um, I want you to describe the project in your own words. I'll share real quick what I got from
Hmm.
it, but right away it was just so colorful for me
Mm.
because like I see like colors when I hear music, so it was
Yeah.
just firing off left and right. I love the surprise that we would get with different songs. We start off in one
Hmm.
area and then it might end completely differently from where I thought we were going. But it
Uh-huh.
was fun. So it was unpredictable. It was whimsical. Like I felt like we just got to be in your musical playground, you know?
Thank you. Thank you. I have sort of a musical ADD. And so, like, when I'm driving in the car, if I am listening to music, it's generally on shuffle. And so it's going between different genres, different artists. And I think my records sort of reflect that. Um, yeah, I just think there's so many ways so from a content standpoint, I want my music to glorify God. And so there's so many ways and there's so many emotional facets and uh musical lanes um to describe and to illustrate how I experience him.
Mm,
And my goal is to just be as authentic as possible, even if it comes to me in a way that's not really highly commercial or commercially accepted. I just want to be authentic to what I'm hearing, how I'm hearing it, and to produce it as best as I can. Yeah.
yeah. And that's what I like about that though, because that's one of the things I should have like taken notes as I was listening, but I was all over the place. Like I was overly stimulated, but in a creative way, in a good
Mm,
way. And there were definitely some songs that were calming too, but it was just my level of excitement because I'm gonna have to go back and listen again because it's one of those things where you're gonna pick up something different every
hmm.
time you listen to it. And I
Yeah.
love it when songs do that. I
Oh
absolutely
wow.
love it. That is fun to me. So
Uh,
I'm definitely gonna have to listen to it again because I already know it's one of those ones. Oh, that happened. I missed that before.
uh,
But as I was listening, one of the things that came to mind, this sounds like an artist who is free to
hmm.
do whatever he wants to do and not have
Yeah.
to worry about we want it this way for sales. And it sounds like
Yeah.
I'm in charge. And because you can tell sometimes when people, you have to do what you have to do in the business depending on your
Yeah.
goal,
Hmm.
you know, and you can sometimes tell when this is something they're doing going along to get along.
Yeah.
But one of the things I also picked up from this was the freedom in it to
Hmm.
just, have that fun. I almost thought about at some points Alice in Wonderland, just like going,
Mm,
we're just floating through. Because again, for me, it was just like a burst of colors and sounds, and but
yeah.
like living inside of a painting. Like it was really an artistic high for me.
Wow.
So
I appreciate you saying that. And
yeah,
that's interesting that you use that Alice in Wonderland thing because my philosophy is the difference between, first of all, there's nothing wrong with commercial music and there's nothing wrong with
right,
artistic music. I think um, neither is better than the other. It's just sort of what it is. And I think
right,
someone told me a long time ago that commercial music, you come to where the consumer is and give them what they want. With
right,
artistic music, you bring the listener into your world. And
yeah,
so that was sort of my goal. Well, it's honestly my goal with anything I do under my name. Like I sort of want to bring people into my world. And it may not be for everybody, but for those that identify with it and feel maybe what I felt when I was playing it or singing it, then um, that's sort of my contribution to the world because like as great as James Brown is or as great as Prince is, I didn't want to. I never want to do like to be a clone just to put that out because it's already out there, and they were in their most authentic form. So I have to believe that there is a demographic of the world, even if it's 0.0000001%, whatever demographic of the world is gravitated towards the music that I produce, I'm supposed to do that for and sort of and give that to the world. And I think everyone has their uniqueness artistically,
Yeah.
and the older I get, the more comfortable I am getting with my uniqueness. I realize it may not be everyone's cup of tea, but for some that experience it, it's really going to identify with them. That's just how, art works.
Yeah, and that's a great way to be, a freeing way to
Yeah.
be. And you could definitely tell when you listen to this that, yeah, you own that sound, you own your uniqueness. And and I love that. What's interesting too though is lyrically, like there's a lot happening musically, but then lyrically, there's some heavy things happening
Yeah.
at times too, and yet especially the invitation to faith,
Hmm.
the reality of what it is to be a believer.
Yeah.
Correct me on the title. I'm sorry. Was it Acting a Mess?
Oh, act a mess. Uh-huh.
Okay. Yes. Thank you. Like that one, that you really let the lyrics sit with you. That's serious, and
Hmm.
yet you also made it palatable for us to accept that message
Yeah.
at the same time.
When I lived in Memphis back in 2016 for like 4 or 5 years, and I got a chance to work with like a Hall of Fame songwriter, a guy named David Porter, who wrote like "Hold On, I'm Coming" and "I'm a Soul Man," like back in like the 70s with like Isaac Hayes,
Mm-hmm.
like Hall of Fame songs. And
Yeah.
I really learned how to make lyrics more conversational and write that way. I think there's times too you can write more um, vaguely or poetically in a way that someone has to look at the lyrics and really think about that. I think that has value too, but I think there's also value when there's a different type of value when you can express lyrics in a conversational way and people feel like you're talking to them uh, as you're singing. And so that's a goal for a lot of my music. Sometimes I try to be poetic and I go that way, but I just think it's good to be able to explore both worlds.
Absolutely. And I love the message of faith that's still there throughout
Hmm.
everything,
Yeah.
but it's definitely out of the box. And we need that
Mm.
because there's some people out there who they're not gonna go for the traditional sound. And that's not to bash that. We
Sure.
had like we came up with that.
Yeah.
And actually there's moments, you put that organ in there, you hit
Yep. Come on now.
I heard a little old gospel croon coming out of your voice at different points. So
Uh-huh.
we're not throwing it away.
Right, right.
Not throwing it away.
Exactly.
The reality also is though there's a group, this will appeal to them first.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so we need to be everywhere in different show up in
Yep.
different ways. So I, if you don't already, can't tell. I loved it.
Oh, thank you so
I
much. That means a lot.
absolutely
Thank you.
loved it.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And looking forward to more. So let
Yeah.
me ask you this. So for someone who, is in the music industry, maybe they're brand new, like what's a good way to start? What's your advice for them? Just kind of shoot.
I think it's always important to develop your craft. And so if you're a bassist, if you're a drummer, if you're a vocalist, um, having good rhythm, having technique and facility on your instrument. If you're a vocalist, being understanding the different parts of your voice, um, getting mastery over your breathing, all that stuff is important just to get mastery of your art. And then I think you have to realize if you're gifted, that means that someone has gifted you. And if someone has gifted you, then you have to sort of go through the mental exercise of thinking, okay, if someone's gifted me, what did they gift me to do? Why did they gift me to do that? I think different people will answer based upon who they think gifted them. Some people think the universe, some people think, vaguely the man upstairs. But for me, I'm very clear that Jesus Christ has given me everything I have. And so for me, and I would say for others that would answer that Jesus Christ is the one that has gifted them, you have to ask those questions. What did he gift me to do? Okay. And then the why. The why I would say is always going to be to glorify him. And so the first thing I would say to artists is like really embrace your what and your why,
Mhm.
and let that inspire your art. As far as working in the industry, um, you know, for me, I sort of look at that as um tent making, and I say that to make reference to the Apostle Paul, like in the New Testament. He made his living not by preaching the gospel. He made his living by making tents. He was a tent maker,
Mm,
and that's how he made his income. That's how he fed himself. But that's how he economically worked in order to spread the gospel. And so, if you're a believer in Jesus, um, when I become a believer, I'm. It's not that I'm no longer an artist. It's now I am uh, a Christian artist. Christian comes first, and
mm,
so um, other things that I may do, like it's stuff I'm working on today for various artists. I do that to the best of my ability, and I do that to make sure their vision um, is executed, but it all funnels to where I can set aside the funds I need to work on my artistic calling.
Hey there, if you are enjoying today's episode and you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button and go ahead and like the video. Also, if you're listening on Apple, Spotify, other podcast platforms, follow over there, subscribe over there, leave a top-notch rating too while you're at it. It's all greatly appreciated. Okay, now back to today's episode.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you. And I'll drill
Mhm.
a little bit more into the business part of it because
Mhm.
it's one of the things I love talking to entrepreneurs on my podcast, whether
Yeah,
it be creative or, in another lane. I'm always fascinated from the creative standpoint too.
yeah,
So what does that look like, if you are, a songwriter, if you are a composer, and what does that look like with networking and establishing a lane for yourself?
yeah. So in any industry, um, money is tied to any industry. So if we're in
Right.
the music industry, that's an industry that's um, dedicated to using music to make money. And so if you're making money, your customer comes first. Your customer is the either the producer that called you, the artist that called you to produce them. Um, it may be, the artist that calls you to play on their record. And in the same way, when someone comes to McDonald's and says, I want a large fry, I'm not going to say, well, no, you don't. What you really want is this. No,
Mm-hmm.
they came there for a certain thing, and so you got to deliver what they want. So a lot of times, a lot of records I play on, people don't even know because I don't necessarily sound like myself. I sound like what they want. And I remember someone told me when I was 19, he said, if you want to work, give the person that's paying you what they want, and you'll continue working. And that sort of has worked for me. It's just important to be able to, when you go in the studio, if you're a vocalist, you're a background singer, and you're supporting an artist, you don't go in there trying to outshine them and show them I can sing and show them who I am. You go in there delivering and make them sound good. That's my first priority. Whoever I'm producing, my goal is to make you sound good. If I'm touring with you, my goal as a touring musician is to make you sound good. So when I pick up the six, if I'm on the drums or if I'm on the bass or something, it's not to try to get, all my facility and all my technique out to show them all that I practice. Is to play the song and deliver what they want. And then on my own time, from my own music, I can show all the technique or do
Right.
whatever I want, but deliver what the artist wants and you'll stay working.
That's good right there. That is
Yeah.
a good tip, and you'll stay
Yep.
working because I think that's what we want to do, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
What are some of the biggest lessons you've learned along the way?
Biggest lessons I've learned along the way. Um, Not to allow to be more selfless and not allow my ego and sort of what I was along the lines of what I was just saying with working for someone else, not trying to push my brand and push my ego in a musical environment when someone hires me to do something. Um, I think the more comfortable I get being a chameleon and being almost invisible to where when someone hears the music, they're looking at an artist or they're looking at whoever hired me. Um, the 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 better I can do that, um, the more I get called. And
Mm,
people sort of will call you with an expectation. Oh, he's going to do the job that I need him to do. There's other practical things too when you go on when you start touring on the road and you're flying from city to city, you get back to the hotel at 1 a.m. and then you got to be at the airport at 5 a.m. Having a good attitude, having emotional intelligence to, man, I only
mm-hmm.
got 4 hours of sleep, but let me not walk around here grumpy and make a weird, like, vibey
Mm-hmm.
atmosphere amongst the bandmates that everybody's tired. So why do I gotta walk around, um,
Mm-hmm.
drawing all the attention to myself and
Right.
being in my own world and all that
Right.
stuff? Like, just have to the best of your ability, have a good attitude, um, treat people right, be as ethical as you can, have good integrity, show up on time. Um, if the artist wants you in the lobby of the hotel so we can leave at 7 p.m., don't make your way down at 7:05, like 6:50. Be downstairs, be 10 minutes early, like be on time. Stuff like that matters. And a lot of
Yeah.
musicians and singers think on a musically, oh, I need to have all these drum fills. I need to have half, I would say 90% of the time as a drummer, when I go out, people just want solid rhythmical undergirding under the music.
Mm,
Sometimes I'll get opportunity to do some more soloistic or virtuistic things, but 90% of the time, people just want you to play the song, play it well, and all the attitudinal and sort of integral aspects of the business. Like get that together in your work.
mm. That's good. Good
Yeah.
advice. So,
And last thing, stop trying to push your resume on everybody.
mm,
Like I work with some people that have some of the deepest resumes. They work with everyone, but you don't know until you like there's one guy I was touring with. He was the music director. I was just playing keys and really quiet guy. Like I asked him, I said, so, the tour's coming to an end, which you do next week? He's like, oh man, I got to go to Dubai and work with Janet Jackson. And he's so unassuming, but unless I would have asked him, I never would have known. And that's
right.
sort of the way to be. A lot of people will work into their conversations, everybody they've worked with and all the
Mm,
experience they have. You don't got to do all that resume peacocking. You know what I mean? You
yeah.
don't have to
Yeah.
do all that
Hmm.
posturing yourself to look a
Right.
certain way. Just
Right.
be good at what you do, execute, be on time. Someone asks you, then you can say what you're doing next week or, maybe what you just did. But, stop trying to push your resume. That gets old real quick.
Mm.
Yeah.
It sounds like just, let the opportunities happen as they happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And just be a regular person. Stop trying to be superstar, you
Right.
know?
That's good advice right
Yeah.
there. That is good sound advice.
Yeah.
So, because you wear so many different hats, I'm curious to know, do you kind of have like a favorite lane that you're in, like whether for like producing to being the one to play, like touring?
I would say, selfishly speaking, working on my own music
Mhm.
is always like the most fulfilling lane because I feel like that's what I'm here to do. Sometimes, well, I would say most of the time, um, because I do this as a career and my own music necessarily isn't, when it comes to streams on Apple Music and stuff, you're making 0.0003 cents per stream. And so
Mm,
that's not the most lucrative aspect. And I'm not able to do my own music full time right now. And so um a lot most like today, I'm working on someone else's record, trying to deliver their sound, what they want. And um when I can carve out time to work on my own music, to work on new music, then I'll do that. And that's sort of for me like the happy place because artistically it's like you're exhaling into the,
mm.
into the music.
I like that. That's
Yeah.
cool. So we're definitely excited for more whenever get the opportunity to put out more. We are excited to hear more.
Speaking of being excited for more, did you know that you can pre-save the latest single, The Gospel from Hamilton Hardin right now? Yeah, you can do that right now. The link is in the show notes. The Gospel drops on August the 28th, and you can pre-save that right now. Okay, back to the show.
Good.
Yeah.
So we're getting ready to wrap up, but
Mhm.
I want to ask you this too, because I like to talk about tech on here a little bit as well. How do you feel about the rise of like AI in music? Like, do you think that could be a threat to humans down the road? Like, what do you think?
I have that conversation a lot, both with like videographers, content creators, and musicians, producers alike. I think it does take, I would say, a percentage of your clientele. So there's a percentage of the clientele. For example, if I'm doing like an opening theme for a TV show or a streaming show, a lot of times I can deliver them um, original music so they don't have to use like a licensed song from like Bruno Mars or for, whatever.
Mm,
They can get, original content for their thing. Um, some of those clientele will go to AI and type in a prompt and get something. And so it does take some of the clientele, but I think it takes some of the lower paying clientele. The higher paying clientele already projects budget for the music, or a lot of artists that are a little more serious about their music will already lay aside budget to do something the right way, not the cheap way, but the right way. I think those that want to do it the cheap way, and I'm mad at you. If you can do it for free, you can type to AI and it will make your record, put it out. I guess
yeah.
do what you need to do. But I haven't um I haven't been hit too hard as of yet by like a decline from AI because generally people that call me have already sort of, they know there's going to be a certain budget that they need to set aside,
Mhm.
and in order to do something right, it costs money. So yeah,
Right. Yeah, I'm not, for me, I'm kind of on the fence. Like, I see where it's useful, especially as I probably would be someone that could even benefit from using it too.
yeah,
But I think one thing I don't like, and I don't know if you noticed this too, I feel like on social media, there's an unnatural push and promotion of AI artists. And I
absolutely.
was really like upset the other day. There's one gospel artist, and she she put out some new music not too long ago.
Hmm.
And I make a lot of faith based content on TikTok. Every time I
Yeah,
went on TikTok, it auto suggested this AI Christian artist, but it
yeah,
never suggested her this human's new music that she
Yeah.
dropped. And so that's the thing I don't like. But I'm like, is there even a way for us to fight that? Or are we just kind of stuck? Like, what do you think?
I think the general public is going to consume what they want to consume.
Mm,
I think that real music enthusiasts are going to crave real music. And when they hear, I was actually talking to an Uber driver um, a few days ago. I was out of town and we started talking about music, and we started talking about AI. And he said, "Yeah, man, like the AI can't duplicate, a good Rolling Stones record." And like when whatever the genre, you know, the human experience, I just think is felt. I think for those that listen to music as like talking music, like that you play real low to talk over, and they're
mm,
not really consuming the music for itself, for art's sake, I think they're fine with, downloading AI driven music.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. And it is here to stay. I'm always gonna be pro-human. And
Yep.
then I'm always thinking about like because like what are the kids? Like I always think of the next generation. I'm like, so are they even gonna realize the value in
Yeah.
music down the road as it increases? Or like, I don't know. I don't want to like get all sci-fi and be like it's a battle, but I feel like we're gonna have to make sure we really play like these are humans that you hear
Yep.
and hear a
Yep.
difference. And even some of the AI voices, they're good, but I feel like there's a quality of like lifelessness
Yeah.
to all of
Yeah.
them that I usually can key in. I don't know if they'll ever be able to improve that with time, but there's something for me that's usually
Yeah.
missing from the voice, at least for the AI vocalist, that I'm
Yeah.
usually like, you're there, but not there
Yeah.
yet. And I hope it never does get there, to be honest.
Yeah. There was a time
Yeah.
and from when I talked to like older musicians in the 90s, like drum machines came out.
Oh.
And it was like, like the Teddy Riley thing and
Mhm.
at Jimmy Jam, well, yeah, Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis, they were using drum machines, and there was a thought from drummers that okay, they're trying to replace real drummers. And one of the drummers I was talking to, who toured with everybody and played with everybody, he was like, "We realized pretty quickly that a drum machine can't do and can't evoke the human expression that I can with some sticks." And I
Yeah.
think the same thing is going to happen. I think AI is going to get more sophisticated, it's going to get more realistic, but I think there is going to be that percentage of I don't know, percentage of the experience that the listener is going to miss, like something's not landing right. And even if the AI is more perfected in its execution of something, even the human mess up has a thing to it that feels more human. And so I don't think it's gonna totally replace artists,
Mhm.
but it is being downloaded by a lot of sort of the general public.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought up the point about the drum machines because
Hmm.
this does remind us we have been through this before in a way.
Yep. Yep.
So that's a good perspective too, with all the different things, the different developments with technology and music over the years. So
Yeah.
this isn't brand new in the grand scheme of things. So that's a
Right.
good
Right.
perspective.
Right.
Definitely a good perspective. And you brought something else to mind with craving that human sound. I know some
Hmm.
of us, especially that grew up with like gospel music, 80s, 90s choirs, some of us have been talking about missing that original recording sound
Yeah.
where like it wasn't completely polished. Like you could tell they were like in this like church sanctuary and
Yep.
or
Turn
maybe
that
a
auto tune
basement.
off. Turn that auto tune off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and maybe the soprano section wasn't pristine,
Yep.
but it wasn't bad either, and we
Yep.
and we liked that, not in a not in a negative way, but you know what I mean. It was just
Mm.
that raw recording, and
For some reason, I
sometimes you
I
miss
can
it,
listen to that and have a tear coming down my eye. It's like, why am I crying right now?
right?
Because out of tune as something may be, or as unperfect as it may be, I felt that joint. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
yes. Like this past Resurrection Sunday, I kept
Hmm.
playing "He Would Not Come Down from the Cross,"
Yeah, man.
And I love that raw recording so much.
Yes,
Like, it sounds like that church is 90 degrees. You know, it feels like everybody is packed in. It feels
absolutely.
like someone is in the basement frying chicken while they're upstairs singing.
Yep, yep,
And I
yep.
love it.
Hmm.
And I love all of
Yep.
that. So
Because
yeah.
all that's part of the experience.
Yeah.
That when we heard it, it's encompassing the social aspect of it. It's
Yeah.
encompassing the experiential aspect of life. That's all part of the music. The AI just it ain't gonna be able to do that.
Nope.
Yeah,
Won't be able to do that. So
yeah.
that's some hope. We can leave off on a hopeful note.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, so don't give up. There's still hope. Well,
Yep.
you're going to wrap this up for real, but since you definitely, clearly are a believer, praise the
Hmm.
Lord, you
Yeah,
mind saying a prayer for like the future of the music industry as a whole, or just go where you're led.
absolutely.
Thank you.
Father, thank you for just this conversation today. And you are at work. You're doing things in the world. You're doing things in lives. And you've given artists the ability to do something special. Artists aren't architects. Artists aren't necessarily attorneys or act in that way, but artists have a way of um, illustrating you to a world that needs to see you. And God, I ask that you would allow we as artists that are called by your name to make that our priority, despite of how much or how little money is involved in it. Help us, Lord, to consider our eternal reward over the um, right now immediate payoff that that this world tries to offer. And help us to be inspired by you as artists, help us to see you and help us to be full of you so that as we make our art, um, we display you, that to the listener that hears the music, that we would disappear and that you would be vibrant as ever. And we're thankful for the gifts that you've placed in people. A lot of people have the ability to write um, masterful lyrics that make you think. Other musicians have the ability to do great musical exploits. Wherever we are in our artistic journey, Father, may we glorify you. And we thank you for everything that we have because it is from you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you so much. Listen, how can we keep up with you, stay connected, all that good stuff?
I think Instagram is probably the best way.
Okay.
I try to, I'm getting better at posting. I'm a little guilty sometimes of not posting enough, but definitely when new music is coming, that's the first place I'm going. Generally Instagram, and
Okay.
my Facebook account's sort of full. Like I can't add more people. So Instagram is
Okay.
always a good way.
Okay.
But there are some things coming this year. And between this year and next year, like I'm working, I'm at work.
All
And
right.
so
That's a good thing.
yeah, be on the lookout.
That's a good thing. So
Yeah,
listen, I'll make sure I drop your Instagram handle in the show notes for everybody so you can
thank
follow.
you.
There's a very cool, you have a lot of cool videos, but
Hmm.
there's one, I don't know if it was from 2020 or I forget the year, but
Hmm.
it's you across all the screens. You're singing all these different parts and you got all these instruments in your hand. And I'm
uh,
like, oh wow, so it's just another day for you, huh?
hey, that morning I was inspired, and that's what came out. Yeah,
It was good. It made me
thank
want to
you.
play the flute because I was like, I just want to play the flute, not so I can like be on your level, but just,
Mm.
I have song association all day long, and at any
Hmm.
given moment, just pull it out.
Yep, yep.
And
Hey,
just
yep.
go for it. But first, I have to be a good student with this guitar. I've been taking forever to learn. So
Come on,
there's
guitar.
there's that. I'm taking
Yes,
forever. But yeah, I gotta
yes.
buckle down.
I love it. I love it.
But yeah, we'll get there. We'll
Be
get
patient
there.
with yourself.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I'm working on that. Thank you.
Yeah. Yep.
But thank you so much. This was good. And we're excited for more.
Absolutely. Thanks so much.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode of The Unscripted Blend. Listen, before you go, make sure you pre-save Hamilton Hardin's new single, The Gospel, which drops August the 28th. The link is in the show notes. Now, if you enjoyed the conversation from today, please do us a huge favor. Subscribe, like, and share. Also, don't forget to leave us an amazing rating. All of these things, they help more people find the show and join the conversation. And they're also free ways to support the show. We appreciate it. Last but certainly not least, don't forget I am now available for speaking engagements. I'd love to work with you, and you can find all the details about that in the show notes as well. Until the next time, stay in the blend, my friend. Take care.